Hi, I'm Julia. Welcome to the Writer's Room again. Today I have a fictional story for you that I wrote in the past couple days and finished just a couple hours ago. This was a lot of fun to write because this is where I feel total freedom to be as creative as I want. I do base it on real places, not real people, but I did have a lot of fun, and it's something I might be able to continue. I think I'll be able to continue with because where the story will lead you at the end. Here it is. The title is Down East. The clouds sweep in from the northeast. It looks more like a nor'easter coming in February, but this is late October. Rolling up, over, then dumping down the hills, blanketing the fields below in a fog of blue and gray. I watch from my bedroom window in my cottage that sits at the edge of the ocean in Down East Maine. Millbridge, to be exact. The realtor told me it was built by shipbuilders in the mid-1800s, and that the bones of it are stronger than any storm the Atlantic could throw at it. My shepherd, Scout, paces back and forth behind me, her nails making a slow, scraping sound on the bare wood. She lets out a long howl, comes over and looks out the window with me. "It's just fog," I say. How odd. The only time I remember her howling is when an ambulance siren would pass by when we lived in Providence. She is clearly agitated and leaves out of the room. I can hear her careful steps clacking along the floor. She begins howling again. I like the sound of her primal wolf side. I follow her out and find her at the back door of the kitchen, scratching the paint from it with her ample claws and heavy weight. Okay, Scout, I'll let you out." Lifting the latch, she shoots out through the barely open door. She barks as she exits. She disappears into the fog like the white wolf dog she is. I am reminded of an author that I admire, Albert Singer. He was a lover of animals and nature alike. He said this: "In the fear of you, and the dread of you, shall be upon every beast of the earth." It warms me and comforts me knowing this. Scout, she is fearless and protective. I couldn't have moved to Maine without her. It was the right choice to transplant my life here in this quiet seaside town of Millbridge. Providence was just too loud, busy, and obnoxious to write a damn thing. Here I am, happily alone, with all the silence and distance from people, traffic, and politics. I can write all my stories, novels, poems, and screenplays in peace. I will whittle away at time and life. I realize I'm still standing here at the door looking out into a wall of nothingness. I no longer hear Scout's barking, only a slow hissing sound like a tire deflating. I shut the door. She'll scratch when she wants back in. A cup of tea seems on par with that pressing fog out there. I scan the kitchen, find the kettle, and place it under the faucet. Turning on the water, a series of pipes start banging and stuttering and finally dribbling. Water flows into the kettle. It's a long slog to fill it. On the glass looking out my window above the sink, there is a circus of flies hammering away at the pane and sill. Some belly up in a slow death buzz. Too many flies. Grabbing a spray bottle of bleach, I fire away with a dome of mist, hoping to kill them. Instead of dying, they seem to become angered and attack me, darting at my eyes like missiles. In haste, I shove the window open and make like a crazy woman, swatting like I have tennis rackets for hands. They buzz off into the fog that is seeping in as if they were called home at last. They disappear and the kettle overflows. I drop my tennis racket hand on the faucet spout. All is quiet again, save for a high yip noise that is Scout. I yell out for her. Scout's paws and head suddenly appear at the window. I yell, "What the hell?" In her mouth is a lifeless white and brown seagull. She drops it unapologetically into the sink. This macabre scene of a dead bird and attacking flies is too much for me in my logical mind. Scout barks once and is gone in an instant. I slam the window shut and carefully pick up the gull, its head hanging with tongue and mouth open as if it could scream. The poor bird is wet and still warm. I've never known Scout to kill anything or cause harm. How strange and sad that she would do this. Wrapping the gull in a towel, I place it in an empty box that I have left in every room of this house of mine. I carefully move its head so it curves itself into its breasts. as if this act is as peaceful a gesture to its life before. With my tea long forgotten and my smile and my anger, boiling up, I decide to go out into the fog and find my dog. I slip my feet into my bright yellow rubber boots and squirm into my rain jacket. Throwing open the door with no trepidation, I step out into a cold blanket of fear and fog. I'm immediately aware. I can barely see. Looking down, I can see my boots through a fine mist of blue. I'm on a shell and stone path that leads to the garden shed. With each step, there is a crunch of breaking shell. I call for Scout again and again. I'm met with nothing but a sound of a hiss that went from a tire deflating to snakes on a plane kind of a noise. Stop scaring yourself, I think. It's just the ocean lapping at the shore. It's just a boat in the harbor using an electric winch to pull up lobster traps. Is there anything else in Down East Maine that has a life of its own that I should know? I haven't lived here long enough to learn its ways and how people live. It's been only minutes, but it seems like hours till I reach the garden shed. I find the door slightly ajar, hanging by one bottom hinge. I've been meaning to call Tom and ask him to fix it. I'll do it tomorrow for sure, this time. Reaching out, I open it cautiously. As it groans against its one anchored hinge and falls off, I jump back, and Scout jumps out too. The end. I left that at a spot where I could definitely pick up from there because I think I'm giving more questions than answers here. Is what's going on with the fog, and is there something suspicious, something unnatural that is happening here in Millbridge, Maine, in Down East, in the Down East section of it. I found something in my research, because I did a lot of research to put this together today, because I wanted to find some historical facts and some authors that maybe had a likeness to Maine or even the Down East section of it. And I found this. It was in a book that I have that was my grandmother's, who was from Vermont, but it was from the 1940s. And it's a book of short stories and folklore about New England. In it, I found a poem. It's really a song, but it's by Lillian Kessler. And I just did one short little excerpt of it, and it is definitely nails how I see Down East Maine. I have spent some time there over the years, so I have a little bit of history. But here's what she said. There was a famous fabled county never seen by mortal eyes, where the pumpkins are growing in the sun and is said to rise, which man does not inhabit, neither reptile, bird, or beast, in this famous fabled county is away down east. There's several counties that make up Down East Maine, which is a section above Bar Harbor, north to Canada. If there is any questions about this or any of other work that I've done, please send them to me. I would be happy to answer them. My husband and I are thinking of putting together a question and answering section instead of a show next week, where we would just talk. Maybe I could actually get him behind the camera, in front of the camera. That would be pretty fun, but he's like, no, I won't do it. Thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I also would always like to wish you to have good thoughts and to say good words and do good deeds.